Guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and the next review I want to do for you today is the Halo 4 Blue Spartan Warrior. It's a Spartan 4. This is from the multiplayer of the game. This figure in particular comes from the box set, which is a new box set that just came out of 4 figures. This is what it looks like, the packaging. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can actually see it. Okay, so that's what the packaging looks like. You've got the 4 figures on across the bottom, their artwork. They are tucked away nicely in there when they're in there, and it's a relatively large package, decent looking packaging. And then of course there's some figures on the back that you can expect to get later on, but the packaging's not that important, so let's talk about the figure. This is the first of the multiplayer figures that we've gotten for Halo 4 and that we will be getting, so it's kind of an inaugural review. Let's get started. He stands at about 5.5 inches tall, so he's got some good height to him. Decent size figure for sure. Very nice overall, but there are a couple things I have to complain about because that's just the way I am. I do want to point out that it does have the standard McFarlane paint application, which is pretty much phenomenal. Everything looks great on this guy. The visor's pearlescent. There's lots of dry brushing to make it look battle worn. Lots of nice clean edges. There is some bleeding here and there from the paint, but no figure's going to be perfect. But either way, it looks just fantastic. The paint job is great. One thing is lacking paint is the sniper rifle. It's not painted nearly as well as the assault rifle. I'll leave it in his hand for now. So it's kind of one shade. There's a little bit of coloration going on up here at the sighting system, and in the back, a little bit of variation near the magazine and the bipod, but it's almost impossible to tell the difference. There is a little bit of green on the sighting system and a little bit of a screen right there, which is a nice touch. It's not super fancy, but it's pretty nice, and it does have nice detail. The sculpt work is perfect, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. He can hold it nicely. There's no trigger guard blocking his finger from getting up in the trigger area, so the lack of a trigger finger is not a problem so far on the Halo 4 figures. And you see there's no trigger guard. It does have a weapons peg hole right there. I have a peg in his thigh, but you can put that on his back right there, and of course there's another peg hole right there. That'll do it for accessories. The armor is removable on these guys, just like the old Halo figures, just pegs into place. You can play with that on your own. I'm not going to take it all the way off. Shoulder pads come off as well, and of course the head you can pop off. Let's talk articulation. The head is on a ball joint or a ball peg, so full range of motion there. Plenty of mobility, no real restrictions. I like that they put a little bit extra mobility in the head this time around, so it's nice. Same shoulders really as before. It's a ball disc with the ratcheted joint in there. It's really stiff, but that's okay. Great range of motion because of the lower shoulder armor in the game. You really don't have any restrictions to the shoulders. The bicep swivel is built into the elbow. It's a ball disc that swivels at the top and at the bottom of the joint, and of course it is ratcheted. Nice big elbow armor on these guys too, so that's pretty nice looking. Same kind of wrist joint as the elbow. It rotates on both ends and has the ratchet in the middle. Torso is an old school ball joint. Pretty limited on the Spartan Warrior. He's kind of narrow front to back, so it doesn't have a whole lot of motion. These guys overall are a lot sleeker than the older Halo designs, a lot sleeker than the Reach designs, so they don't have as much motion. Very limited front to back, side to side as well. The rotation's fine though, so that's okay. The hips, just like I complained about Master Chief's hips, they have old school ball joint hips. It's a ball peg and a socket. That's it. The ball peg does have a little bit of mobility inside the hip, but that's it. So it's really limited. You can't bring the leg forward any more than that. Don't care for that at all. It's very, very limited. But it does look nice, so that is one plus. It's almost impossible to see the hip joint, so that's okay. Same joints as in the knees as the Reach figures. It swivels in the thigh and ratchets like a regular knee hinge. The ankles are the same as the wrists and elbows, and the toes are the same as we've always gotten. Basically just an old school ball peg. It rotates, and it has a little bit of mobility, but due to the sculpt, it's almost useless. So I don't really care for that. And the feet do look really long. Hopefully I know the new designs aren't quite the same proportions as we're used to, but hopefully they don't look quite like this in the game, because they look just a little bit awkward. And the legs are really skinny. So I'm thinking maybe this figure got exaggerated just a little bit compared to what it's going to look like in the game. So we'll see though. It's not bad either way. It still looks cool. It's a nice looking figure for sure. It's just not what we're used to. So we'll see in a couple of months how we like it. I do think the head might be slightly misshapen from the game. It looks a little bit round and non-angular. Those are kind of like the same thing, but you'll get what I'm saying once you see the character artwork or some in-game renderings. But overall, it's a great figure, great paint application, great articulation overall. It's not perfect, but it's really nice. So I do suggest you pick up this box set if you're looking for this figure, because as of right now, that's the only way to get it. It is nice, it's just not perfect. So that's my 2 cents on that. That's the blue Spartan Warrior, Spartan 4, Halo 4, from the 4-figure box set. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos, and in the meantime, keep collecting.